Hey guys, I got a Christmas gift. It was a little sign that says "Ask me about my dad jokes." So I hung that on the door. First person came by to ask about it. I said, "Don't worry, it'll become apparent pretty soon."
That's fantastic. I want a
That's good.
sign like that now on my door. I
Dude,
just
that's
gotta.
that's a double joke. Like that's fantastic.
I've got a no trespassing sign at my door because of the Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah.
On my
Um,
cubicle, I have a sign that says, "Do not distract me. I am easily distracted, and I have work to do."
I could see that.
Because they bring over projects, and I'm like, I'm gonna start working on this and this and this, and my boss is like, "What about this?" Oh, I forgot about that one.
I forgot about that. I saw something shiny. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I do that. Our front door has the no soliciting. We found religion. We don't need solar. Go away unless you're delivering Amazon or you have Girl Scout cookies.
There you go.
Bang on that door if you got Girl Scout cookies.
I don't think they're
Mhm.
allowed to knock on doors anymore.
They still do
Um,
around here.
no. But anyways, welcome back to another episode of As Dad as It Gets, the podcast where a bunch of ADHD dads talk about their door signs.
Oh yeah.
And I'm your host Larry, and we actually got Dave back. David, sorry, we had a whole conversation about that. Um, John is not able to join us tonight, and Tom is still on sabbatical. But today we have another guest to help us celebrate Pride Month, Rex, and everybody want to say hi.
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 Hello.
I didn't know my
Yeah,
voice could go that high.
yeah, you'd be surprised.
Right?
Um, so Rex, why don't you tell us your dad's story and how you became a dad and everything?
Yeah, definitely. I have two kids here. Well, not here right now; they're on vacation. But I'm a dad of two. As far as actual kids, started off with animals. So we have three dogs, and our oldest there is 13 years old this year. So he's been around for a while. But my wife and I have been together for going to be 15 years this December. We met in '08, started dating December '08, moved in January '09, engaged in July of '09. So we kind of started off pretty quickly there and just been riding things together ever since. So we have a 4.5 year old. So she's a November baby of 2018. And then our younger just turned 2 last week.
Oh, so you've got a pandemic baby.
We have a pandemic baby. Yep. Our baby
I
announcement was a sign that said mom and dad couldn't stay 6 feet apart.
I have one too.
I think we all, like, a lot of people have pandemic babies that we've had on the show. Um, and so compared just from a dad point of view, how is a pandemic baby different from your older child?
Very much so. Our older is a lot more independent. Um, she, during the pandemic, was afraid of masks at first, got a little bit of stranger danger, but not too bad. Our younger, being born through the pandemic, it changed everything from the C-section and who could come to the hospital to where we could go afterwards, especially because she had a minor heart murmur, and so she was in the
Oh,
NICU with that and hypoglycemia when she was born. So 5 days in the NICU, follow-ups with a cardiologist, and so we had to be extra careful her first 6 months. Basically, nobody could come around unless they were vaccinated for full Tdap. as well as no symptoms. Fully isolating everything. Even if you're vaccinated, had to wear masks inside the house. We had very few visitors because that was May of 2021, so right in the middle of everything.
Yeah,
We
that's at
didn't
the
take
heat of.
her out anywhere besides the doctor's offices.
Yeah, and I mean that's very serious. So I'm glad you guys took it serious.
Yeah.
But so, what makes you a part of the community for the LGBTQ, as far as that goes?
So both of us, wife and I, are bi, and we are also polyamorous. So we have a polyamorous relationship, which is very different from open relationship. Uh, but so we both have in the past and current other partners as well. Uh, so, like I said, we've been together going on 15 years, and she actually has a boyfriend who lives with us as well. And they've been together. This is actually going to be 10 years now, 9.5 years, and he's been living with us for 7.
So you mentioned that it was different from an open relationship. I think with the media, they kind of portray that polyamorous lifestyle as like you just go out and do whatever with everybody. Can you define what the relationship actually is, like the parameters of it?
So for some, they are very similar. For us, it's not. It's not an open relationship where it's just go out and date whoever, go do whatever you want with whoever you want. For us, it is we feel that love is not just a one-to-one thing. So while we have our own dedicated relationship, we also can have other people that we have those relationships with. Um, it's not how some people are, where the three of us are a triangle. It's two parallel relationships, I guess you could say. So she's dating or together with both of us, but we're not all three together. Um, you know, I've had people I dated on the side, online relationships, in person. So very
The
different from just it's not just threesomes all the time.
So what you're saying is TV lied to me. But
Yes.
Like to me,
how?
it's either one of two ways, right? It's either go out and do anything, or it's a cult. Like that's how the media always
Yeah,
portrays it. It's one of those two things, and there's
Yeah.
nothing in between.
yeah. You can, what was it, Sister Wives kind of thing. You can
Hmm.
blame those kind of shows for that. But how does that dynamic affect as far as parenting? For your wife's partner, do they help with your kids?
Hmm. Everything. It's a triple parent relationship. So for us, it's mom, dad, and dado. So he is dado, I'm daddy or dad. When we're working together, we're daddy-o. So, it's we'll all work together. We go out, do group outings with the family. Our schedules are tending to be opposite a lot of times. So if I'm working during the day, they'll go out, go to the park. The two kids with both of them. If he's working on weekends, then weekends are more my time with her and the girls. So we'll go out, we'll do things. If we have days off for overlapping, then we'll all go out together. We'll get dinner. We'll go shopping, go to the park, do whatever. So for the most part, you know, it's one big happy family.
So I know one thing that people have mentioned a lot is that it's going to be hard to explain it to your 4.5-year-old and your 2-year-old. How difficult or easy is it to actually explain it to a toddler so they understand what the dynamic is?
I mean, she just kind of, we don't know if she understands or doesn't, but she's kind of goes with it. The toughest thing is that our extended family, most of them don't know. So, going to visit my family is local, my parents, and, we got to make sure she's not going to say anything about, you know, Dado being, in the room with us because we all share the same bed. Um, but he also has his separate room. So That's kind of his computer room has a futon in there. So if anyone asks, that's his room. If they don't know, if any of his family's around, then it's, you know, the master bedroom is their room. That's my room. I'm the roommate. So we kind of, got to have a cover there if we need it. But for anybody
Yeah.
who's familiar with us, they generally know.
And I mean it.
So, but yeah, I mean, both the girls, they don't really treat it anything different. The innocence of children, I guess.
Yeah, that's more of what I was leaning towards because I know like we had that with my daughter because I'm a bonus dad, so we had to explain that at some point, and she was just like,
Mhm.
"Hey, cool, I have two dads now." Like she could have cared less. So
Yeah.
I just know people you tend to use that of, "Oh, you're going to confuse them." Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I mean it's like with my daughter. I mean she's got her adoptive parents, and then we we don't have her biological parents around, but she's got a lot of biological family that we interact with, and so she's got like 10 grandmas, and everything. It really gets confusing when trying to explain it to people. I don't think she understands. She's just like, all right, this is a cool person that I go and play with.
Yeah, but that's getting to the extended family part. Like I think that gets confusing
Yeah,
no matter how old you get.
I've been
Yeah.
I've been with my wife for 10 years, and we I still haven't figured out her family tree.
So that's how I feel sometimes.
I'm with you for some of that because my wife, her family is mostly in Colorado, and yeah, there's every time we go, it's like, okay, so who was that I just talked to? It's a huge family. She's got 15 nieces and nephews out there. It's like every branch of her family. She was the oldest to have kids, and she's one of the only ones to not have three or more kids. So her cousin, who's 5 years older than her, she's turning 40 this year. Her cousin is 45, is already a grandma four times over.
God.
Man,
So, like, they're out there visiting right now for vacation for summer for 3 months, and yeah, it's all you can't go more than 3 or 4 days without talking to family, and it's everyone has kids between both of my kids' age, so they both get along with everyone out there. So they do a birthday party, and it's 25 kids show up, and you're related to 23 of these 25 kids,
Don't ask me which ones.
right? And I have no idea which ones.
um so
and don't ask me
for
their names.
yeah, just call them hey kid. I actually did that. My wife and I thought that one of my daughter's cousins was a girl because they had like this beautiful hair, like beautiful long blonde hair. And my wife was like, I accidentally bumped into her, and they were like, it's a boy. Oh, sorry.
My bad.
Yeah. But for the family that you haven't told, is it more out of like protecting your children? Because a lot of states are going against the LGBTQ community, and they think that you know what is just normal life. Like a lot of people will define it as child abuse. Is that why you guys aren't?
No, it's not anything to do with that. It's more they are like my parents are very conservative and protective, always grown up. You know,
Yeah.
I moved out when I was 20. I still had a curfew. Um, I was living in college dorms, going out for bowling night, and I would have to go and hide in a quiet smoking area at 10 o'clock at night to say, yeah, I'm back in my dorm getting ready for bed. I just finished up my homework, and yeah, I left bowling early, so I'm going to bed for my 7 a.m. class tomorrow. Then I'd hang up the phone, go back inside, and stay at the bowling alley until 12:30, 1 a.m. So very overprotective, and it's not something they would understand.
They would have a
It
hard
would,
time grasping that.
yeah,
uh,
they would not. They'd have heart attacks and be gone probably. Yeah, they would not understand that. Now her side of the family, they would be confused, but I think they'd understand and support it. And then her partner, his family actually found out about it. Um, some of the family did. So his sister saw a Facebook photo, pregnancy announcement or something, and caught on that it was her and it wasn't him being named in the photo. So she caught on. She's like, "Wait,
Wait a
this
minute.
you guys got something going on, don't you?" And so eventually his mom found out, and she's actually very supportive of it as well. So
That's fantastic.
she's come for visits before she found out. So I was the roommate at work, but now she knows, and so when she sends cards, she'll send birthday cards, Christmas cards to all of us now. So yeah,
So it's like the kids just got another grandma, pretty much.
exactly. Yep, they got one mom, two dads, and extra sets of grandmas.
So, funny thing, as I mentioned, I'm bonus dad, and we co-parent so well with my wife's ex that a lot of people assume that we were uh, a throuple because he's over here was watching my kids because he wasn't working at the time, or he was working minimally. So like when she would go to class, he would come over and watch even my son. And they're like, "Are you guys all?" His grandparents looked at us all and were like, "Are you guys all a couple?" And they were so confused. And like, I mean, they're older, like significantly older, and down in Georgia, right? So it's because it's his grandparents. So they're like,
Hmm.
"Wait a minute," and we're like, "No, we just all get along." But we got and then my neighbor also thought that we were uh it was all three of us because the first year I lived here, I bought the house like in middle of October, and we had trick or treating, and me and him took our daughter around to trick or treating, and they didn't see my wife yet. So the first time they ever saw me at this house was me and him with this girl, this little uh she was 3 at the time, taking her trick or treating. And then it was like a year and a half later in the summer, they saw my wife working outside, and the lady like came over, looked, and then walked back to her house, and we're like, "What is she doing?" And we went over there, and she's like, "I thought you were a gay couple. I was confused why there was a woman over there." I was like, "That's my wife."
Someone's cheating on somebody.
Yeah, right. Like she came all the way like halfway across the road, like not even looking from her window because she's like kind of kitty corner from our house. So like she came all just waddling all the way across the road. I thought you were a gay couple. I was like,
uh,
Yeah, we had a
no.
neighbor who they had only seen me walking the dogs. So they'd see me all the time, walking, just do laps around the block with the dogs, get them some exercise. They'd seen me with the dogs, never seen the kids. And then uh, this was before our youngest was born, so it was just the oldest. So the three of them were going for a walk. My wife, her partner, and our oldest go for a walk. So the same neighbor sees them for a walk. They start talking because she loves little kids. So from then on, it's always been, according to them, the girls are both his, and I will say we look kind of similar. So I'm the uncle. So she thinks we're brothers.
Uncle
I
Dad.
mean,
What?
whatever helps them understand what's going on makes it easier
Exactly.
for you
Whatever lets
guys.
them understand it, whatever lets them not lose their minds because they did not like her husband didn't like our dogs, and he was very, don't let anyone touch a blade of grass on my yard.
Oh, I've got
And
those neighbors.
yeah,
They're all old. I'm waiting for them to die.
They tend to be the older ones.
Yeah.
yeah,
I used to
Um,
run a lawn service, and I could still care less about what my yard looks like. Like toys everywhere. I'm like, go ahead, have fun.
I sent you a picture of my grass being shorter than theirs. They still
Oh
haven't
yeah,
fixed it. It makes me so happy. It's like my grass is the shortest.
they had 48
nice.
hours to respond.
Yeah.
Dad code.
But the other thing, with the living situation, we're mentioning that is, these days housing costs. Like we own the house, and we bought this house in 2019. If we didn't get it when we did, we wouldn't. We'd still be renting now. It
Oh
kind of
yeah.
fell into our laps. But these days the cost of everything is so high. You got to have three adults living in a house just to be able to afford it.
Yeah. Um, which I mean, just rent in my area. I live in, but kind of a midpoint between Nashville and Knoxville. And average rent cost in that area is around 2 to 3,000 for like a 2-bedroom apartment.
Hmm.
We got we got lucky and bought our house back in 2016. Um, but yeah, that does add that additional income would make things fantastic.
It definitely helps. I mean, yeah, down here, yeah, I'm in Central Florida. Theme park areas, everything like that. Cost of living is pretty high. Um, we have people advertising a single room being rented out, not even like a studio like separate access. Just I'm renting a room in my house, 900 plus utilities.
Wow.
You want a two-bedroom
Man,
apartment? You're looking at $2,000 to $4,000. You want a two-bedroom house with a garage, anything like that? You're looking at 3,000 plus. And like I said, we bought this house back in 2019. It's a four-bedroom, 1,800 square foot house. Our mortgage is $1,500 a month.
Mine's 700 a month. We got lucky.
And
It's a 3-bedroom house, but it's really old.
so I have
yeah,
a
this is a
three-bedroom house
brand new build.
with
We're
the
a brand new
taxes
build on
and
a quarter acre with horrible
okay.
grass. So
So with the taxes and stuff, not just the mortgage, I think my total is like 1,200. But I live
yeah,
just
no,
south of Detroit, so the housing market here, like even any two-bedroom apartment, it's like $1,100. Like it's nothing like that.
Um, at one point, I got this idea of like, because apparently you can buy a missile silo for relatively cheap.
In Nebraska and Kansas.
New Mexico also.
New Mexico
The
too? Okay.
Yeah, the one I was looking at was New Mexico. It was like 35,000 for the at the time. I was like, I just need to buy a missile silo and turn it into like a hotel and just live there. That was my plan.
put it on
But
Airbnb.
yeah, people will go wild for that living in a missile silo.
Yeah, no, they'd go nuts. They have a missile silo around the corner for me. It's I don't know, it's about 15 minutes, but they filled it in with concrete, so you can't actually go to it. So I'm like, man, why would you fill that in with concrete?
It'd be so cool.
Right? I was like, I'd
That'd be
buy
awesome.
that.
So with you being in Florida, like how much of a fear is it for your children as far as what's going on and with their I'm not gonna say his name.
We are not a fan of him. Uh, we have quite a few names for him, but yeah, we are not a fan. He has made a lot of changes that are affecting very close friends of ours who are now attempting to leave the state. Um, we and not only just related to poly or even sexuality at all, just the education system in the state of Florida has been changed
Yeah.
so much. We are planning on being out of here within 5 or 6 years.
Come to
Like I
Michigan.
said, our house is 3 years old. Before the house is 10 years old, we're going to be gone because we don't want our kids getting a full education in this state. Even private school, it doesn't help as much. So we're trying to be moving out to Colorado by the time our oldest starts middle school.
Because
Oh,
there
come
was
to
that
Michigan. I need more bandits up here.
uh, because there was that teacher that put the movie Strange World on,
Mhm.
and she's had to quit because of it.
What's wrong with
And
Yep.
Strange World? I haven't seen it.
because it promotes a same-sex couple.
The main
Actually, I don't even think
character, yep.
I don't even think they identify like they're gay, but they don't have like they don't make it hardly any part of the story.
It's a
It's
strange world. I figured they weren't actually like human beings, they were strange things.
they're, they're all human.
Oh, I
yeah.
have no idea what it's about.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's pretty decent.
Right now, I'm
I've
only
seen
allowed to watch
clips of it, haven't
Marmaduke.
seen the whole thing, but yeah, it's not like it's a whole gay agenda movie. It's just the main
Yeah,
character is gay. That's it.
Oh, geez,
yeah.
And
who
It's
cares?
because she did not get authorization from the school board to air that movie to her class, and one of the kids in her class's mom is on the district school board, she filed a complaint with the state.
yeah, and like this teacher got attacked for it,
Hmm.
That's terrible.
and in the movie, like it it doesn't have it's not pushing anything. It's just he happens to like guys. Like that's it.
And can't do is it the new uh, live action Beauty and the Beast because LeFou's gay.
Oh yeah,
That movie's fantastic, though.
it is.
They tried to shut that down.
Yeah, I remember them trying to shut that stuff down.
That
But
can't be aired in school, even though it's a PG movie. Yeah,
Yeah. But I think Disney should just take over Florida.
they have the power. I mean,
Yeah, they
they've
have the
actually
money.
threatened to secede from the state before, and
yeah,
they could do it.
yep, they could. I was reading an article on that about how they could, and it's because they have like their own governmentship from when they first did it. That was one of the things. Walt said that in order for them to build it in Florida, they had to be able to self govern. So they had to write that in so he can secede at any time.
Yep. So it is most of Disney is its own city. There's a couple parts of the exterior areas are surrounding cities, but most of it is its own city of Bay Lake. There are 5 houses on one street. These are privately owned houses, and if you live there, you have a lifetime pass to the parks for free. And they kind of just cycle through who is the mayor, who's on the board for the city, who is the city, secretary, things like that. And whenever they have to do elections under state laws, they just it's whoever lives there because you have to be a resident to be on the board or to be the mayor. So they
Hmm.
cycle through that. They have their own EMS fire department. They
Yeah.
have had the Reedy Creek Improvement District, which was construction, road services, everything. That's the whole thing that's been decommissioned recently. Um, they have their own private security force. It's built up with local sheriff's office. But even that, they could take that over because there's literally a separate division of the sheriff's office that only handles Disney and like a 2 mile surrounding area.
So they're
That's
Disney cops.
crazy.
Pretty
Dude,
much.
Disney security is no joke.
Oh, I bet.
I worked there
Um,
for a short term doing security.
and also Universal because they're kind of pretty much right next to Disney. Universal
Yeah.
security is no joke either. A friend of mine and I went to Universal, and we went to Adventure Bay, so their water park. And in Adventure Bay, there's a huge volcano there that's actually a water slide. Um, Anybody that is out of shape, I don't recommend it because it's like a 2 mile hike straight up this mountain to the water slide, and then they put you in this tube and Emperor's New Groove style, pull the lever, and you just the floor drops,
Just
and you
thump.
go straight down to the slide. So they have two slides when they do this. Me and my friend went. I got in one slide, he got in the other. The guy operating my slide was like, "Hey, take your glasses off, hold them, cross your arms, and don't look down." And I was like, "Why wouldn't I want to look down?" And I look down, and he opens it up, and it's just water going in my face, and I'm panicking, so I can't look up. So I'm going down the whole slide, drowning the entire time. By the time I get down the bottom, my friend is there. His guy didn't tell him to take off the glasses,
They're gone.
so we were like, "Hey, you guys need to shut this down so we can get his glasses out before somebody goes through and breaks them." And they're like, "No, just come back." He's like, "You don't understand. I'm blind. We can't. There's no coming back."
There's
And
no
while we're
coming
sitting
back
there,
from this.
yeah, while we're sitting there arguing with them, I
Where'd you guys
back
go?
up. Yeah, I back up into what I think is a wall. It turns out it's a person. Um, they had called security, and these two guys, which were just a refrigerator with legs,
Hmm.
are standing behind us, getting ready to pick us up and throw us out. But they finally realized that we weren't going to go anywhere and got his glasses. It took like maybe 30 seconds, but no, security's no joke there.
They're not.
Um,
I've worked with them also. I worked contract security for some of the places around Universal, so we had to work with Universal security. But no, SeaWorld also has one of the rides like that, except it's worse at the start. It's got the drop tube, but it's like a twisty slide. They hit the button, it starts a countdown. Five, four, three, two, one, launch. Thump 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 thump. Boom. It
I'd be
actually has a
so mad.
spreadsheet form going.
I'd be so. That's effective. I'd be so mad.
Yeah. Um. So for your like for anybody that is wanting to become polyamorous and has kids, what's some advice you would give them?
Number one piece of advice, whether it's someone who has kids or not looking into polyamory, is jealousy will exist, communication must exist. Talk it through. We we talk everything through. If there is jealousy, you discuss it. Set limits. Okay. We have limits on what we do with who we do. We make sure anything that is going to happen has approval of the other. So it's not just totally random wildness. Like I said, we talk about everything. Um, we're the type of people, if we get angry at each other for something, we'll fight it out right there and then. We'll argue about it. We'll talk it over afterwards. Then we're back to getting things done. So communication is absolutely key. Don't hold anything back, otherwise that's going to ruin the entirety of the relationship. Uh, and that's going to affect for the kids too. How you parent the kids. Different people have different parenting styles, so you have to make sure everyone is on the same page with okay, what sort of punishments are acceptable, what's not. You how much the kids know about everything with the relationships. Some families they don't know at all. We keep ours a little bit more open because, like I said, we're all in the same house, we're all in the same bedroom, so the kids are aware of that. And you know, they don't really. Well, our younger one just barely started talking, so she doesn't really have questions. But our older, she's 4.5, and she doesn't really have questions about it. She's just okay, yeah, whatever. You know,
Well,
so
it's kind of the only life that they've ever known. So,
exactly, yeah. I mean,
um,
he's been living with us the whole time. Um, you know, there's gonna be a day, I'm sure, where it's okay, how do we have two daddies? And once they start understanding, is okay. So who's biological, who's not? And to us that doesn't matter.
right.
Um, honestly, for our first, we're not even 100% sure. So
I mean,
you know,
I don't think that being biological defines anything as far as family. But
unless a medical
for
concern comes up, that's about it. I mean, I'm
yeah,
adopted myself, so I know you were talking about the adoptions over there. But yeah, I'm adopted at birth, so the people who raised me, they're not biological. Makes sense for some things, but
yeah,
no, it's
um,
families who raises you and who cares about you.
yeah, fully believe that. Mainly because
110%.
I don't talk to any of my biological family. But for parenting, how hard is it to set those limits? Because I know me as a parent that even with my wife, there have been times where I'm like, don't say that to my kid or something like that. How often does that happen with you guys?
Not overly often. Honestly, us two bandits kind of are more the same style, so kind of like what you just mentioned there has happened. She's on a different level for what punishment's deserved, and usually she's getting mad at us for. I wouldn't say usually; it doesn't happen all the time, but if it happens, it tends to be she thinks we're over punishing. Um,
I get in trouble for that too.
it's well, she's only
You
4 years old.
imagine?
You're treating her like she's a teenager. No, she's a 4 year old. She understands what she's doing. We're discussing and giving a relevant punishment.
So is it like a council? You guys vote on stuff?
A lot of times, yeah. We have group chats, text messages, whatever programs that we use for chat. We have each other on all of them. So um, a lot of it we trust each other to whoever's with the kids, will address it.
Hmm.
But if there is something oh, so and so was misbehaving, they did this and this, we'll at least get a text message to say, hey, they did that, this is the punishment, so when we get back home, you're aware of it.
Okay.
Well, that makes sense to do. I should start doing that.
Yeah.
I should definitely start doing that, because then the other one of us gets home, and then my son's like, "Hey, so and so said I can have a cookie," and I'm like, "Oh, all right, go ahead, have a cookie." And then we realize that no, we said he couldn't have cookies today. Oh, well, that's his third, so that's
Yeah,
a good idea.
we've had that with I want to use the tablet. I want to play my tablet. Are you supposed to have your tablet right now? Yeah. Okay, I'll go get it for you. And then she'd done something during the day that she lost the tablet. So I didn't know that. But yeah, no, like I said, we've got text groups. We've got other bandit doesn't use Facebook, so there's no Facebook Messenger, but we use Telegram and Discord for gaming stuff. So we've got group chats on all of them, and we know if it's something more direct, we'll do text messaging. If we need to reach him for anything, it's usually Discord because he's on the computer and that's the only thing he's paying attention to with his headset. If it's something just hey, by the way, this is going on, not too important, we'll do that through one of the other systems just so we can we keep them kind of compartmentalized there. Or the
Honestly,
ADD brain also, if I'm trying to find something, I know where it's going to be. Oh, I need to buy this off of Amazon. Okay, that was sent to me in this system. That came to me in Facebook, so let me find it in there.
I'm kind of jealous. Like you've got a lot of benefits there, and I think the most important thing to for anybody that's listening that doesn't understand this is that your children are extremely well taken care of. Like
Hmm.
they're if one parent's busy, like I mean, in situations with maybe a one or two parent household, um, like kids can get ignored. But for your kids, they just have extra love that's everywhere.
Exactly.
And
And extra babysitter, which always helps too.
yeah,
Yep.
Just say, man, we're zone defense over here, so you guys still get to double cover at times.
yeah,
Exactly. From planning to just have a two of us date night. He'll watch the kids. I'll watch the kids. They go out. When she was pregnant with our younger, it was a very tough pregnancy. There was multiple trips to the ER, so it worked out with his schedule. Most of the time, he was already home, so we didn't have to worry about bringing a 2.5-year-old to the ER who's wondering, why is mommy sick? And towards the end of it, it was actually being yelled at every single time. Why'd you come home? Where's my sister? Go back and bring her home. Every time we left, she expected, she knew it was getting
uh,
close, and so she's waiting for sister to come home.
Yeah. Where is the baby?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty
yeah.
much what happened with my son and daughter, with the youngest too.
Baby's
It's
still
like
inside mommy's tummy. It's not time yet. It's gonna be soon. Yeah. Then
with
she'd go stomping off and pout in her room.
with with Barkley, they're expecting another one through
Mm-hmm.
surrogacy, and so their son is like, "Where's my new brother at?" And as far as the way he explained it was like his son knows that the baby is growing, so he thinks this woman in another state has the child and is just gonna bring him in eventually. He doesn't understand that she's pregnant. He's just like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, they have it, and then they're gonna bring it in. But I think I'm out of questions. You honestly covered everything pretty well.
Woo.
Um, David, you got anything?
No, you covered everything. The only
Yeah.
question I really had was how to deal with the jealousy part, but like you said, you have to just talk and communicate.
Talking, communicating is most of it. I mean, we have had our problems, just like every couple does. Um, when it was just the two of us living together, they were a long distance relationship. She was looking at bringing somebody else in. We None of us felt that it was a very good idea. It was someone that we all had known, and so we didn't think it was going to be a good idea for him to be joining us. She still had wanted to. That it caused a rift for a while, where honestly, I'd moved out to a separate bedroom for a couple of months. stayed in the house. We still made it kind of weird because we were still kind of doing the dating things as far as we were living together. We were sharing a car. We weren't telling people we broke up, but separate bedroom. Because at that point it was a lack of communication. So, we eventually talked it out. She realized, it wasn't a good idea even looking into bringing somebody else in at the time. And, there were things that she was looking for that she hadn't told us she was looking for. We were able to, work on that. And once the communication was back in line, everything was getting back together. So, those sort of things do help,
Yeah,
but
communication is
they can
hard
happen to anyone.
just between one couple. I don't think my wife could handle dealing with me and somebody else.
I know my wife could not handle me and somebody else. I know for a fact. She tells me all the time I'm her biggest child.
Yeah.
She sent me a thing today that said my most difficult child is my mother-in-law's.
But it honestly, it sounds like you guys have a really good system set up, and um, like everything just seems to work
Hmm.
perfectly.
Oh yeah, and we have fun with it too. We go out
Yeah.
to the theme parks, things like that, because we're both bi. Also, we can admire the crowds together, and we're not angry with that of, oh, you checking someone out. It's like, yeah, for you, here, look over there, look at that eye candy.
I
So
have a list of like celebrities,
hmm,
the hall pass list.
yeah.
Um, and and most of my list is men. I'm not even gay, but like John Stamos is my number one go to. Um,
John
even before,
Stamos. Did we
yeah,
just become
even
best
before
friends?
Ryan Reynolds. Like Ryan Reynolds makes most men gay,
Yeah.
but I would pick John Stamos over Ryan Reynolds just because I think he would take care of me.
See, I couldn't have a celebrity hall pass, so we don't even do that just because of my history of working security, and I worked concert security for a while. So I worked Taylor Swift concerts. I've worked George Thorogood concerts. I was stuck in an elevator for 15 minutes with Tom from Blink 182.
Oh, that's awesome. Would you do
Pretty
you
cool
give him
guy.
like an elevator pitch on
No,
something?
just sat there and we were just chilling and talking. It was me, him, and this is when he was in the newer band, Angels and Airwaves.
Yeah.
We were in the green room downstairs, or the elevator to the green room. My job that night was sit in the elevator, make sure anyone coming down had passes. So we're sitting there before the show, waiting to go up top to get him on stage, and the drummer was taking his time. So we're sitting there for 10 minutes. Turns out the drummer took the stairs on the other side, so he was already up there.
So who's your like most favorite celebrity you've met?
I've met a good number of them. Honestly, the best ones to meet are the ones that you don't even realize who they are because they're walking around backstage just dressed like Joe Schmo, and then after you realize, hey, wait, that was so and so. I've done rock shows. I've done Disney on Ice. I worked a Mary J. Blige and Jay Z concert. That one,
Yeah,
that was an interesting show to work.
I'd say so.
Being inside of an enclosed arena.
With no
Let's just say there were some thunderstorms going on up in the top
uh,
in the upper decks.
just whole clouds.
Poof, poof.
Yeah, all of the ushers,
Oh
all the security who
gosh.
worked inside ended up down at Perkins and Denny's with the munchies after the show.
Oh, I am sure.
Yeah. Denny's is like, why is there so many people here? People don't typically go to Denny's.
Oh, they knew.
Because the Waffle House was full.
'Cause- yeah, that's
Yeah, so
fantastic.
but man, I've honestly I worked that for like 10 years. It kind of just a lot of them roll together. The Harlem Globetrotters were pretty cool. I met a couple of them from one of their shows, and they're cool guys.
Right on. Uh, we got to meet Manu Bennett from Arrow, and he was a really nice guy. But I haven't met many celebrities. But before, so we're getting at time. Are there any stories or anything you want to share with anybody that like whatever you've been wanting to say to the world?
No, I mean, we covered a lot of the points that I wanted to talk about. You had them in your questions there, and that's basically what I was thinking of. It's not sister wives, brother husbands, for everybody. Some people it is, absolutely. But just like any other relationship, poly relationships are all different. You know, it's gonna be tough to find two that are alike.
All right, and I guess that's about as dad as it gets.
Bam!
If you enjoyed this episode, give us a rate and review. Your feedback fuels us and helps us reach more parents and make a positive impact on their lives. Are you looking for a daily dose of dad jokes? Follow us on Instagram @AsDadAsItGetsPod. There you can find the latest dad jokes and keep up with the latest news and updates about our podcast. Also, do you have a parenting question or do you want to spotlight a dad? Reach out to us by email at asdadasitgets@gmail.com.